Hi, Computer Science 1 class. It's Mrs. Miskin. We're going to go over lesson 21 in code.org today. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started on that. Lesson 21 is changing variables. So we did do that in lesson 20. We're going to use Artist now to change those variables in our drawing. Okay, so screen 1. Let's start this section by drawing a triangle with 150 pixel sides. Be sure to use the length variable and a repeat loop. Okay, all right, so let's start with how to draw a triangle. We know that we use a loop. And we're going to use just the number 3 in here because there's 3 sides. So our actions to create a triangle will be to move forward and to turn. And we can check here, our length will be 150 pixels, and it does want us to use the length variable. We'll set that in just a minute. And then our degrees to turn is 120. So let's go ahead and set our variable now. We'll do that before we start the loop. And then we want in math to grab a number, and it needs to be 150 pixels, right? Okay, let's give that a try. Okay, so that wasn't too hard. We're very familiar with making triangles, aren't we? Okay, now we're going to do something a little bit different. Rebuild the triangle code from the last puzzle. Okay, so we're just going to repeat that. This time use the set length to block to reset the length variable to length plus 10 at the end of each loop iteration. Okay, so what it's asking us to do is put this set length to block inside of the loop. All right, so let's start with just those same blocks that we had before. We're going to set the length at the beginning to, okay, last time it was 150. All right, so now we need a loop. Repeat 3 times because it's a triangle. We're going to move forward and turn left. Now we need to add this big block here with a math equation inside of it in order to change. We've used those before. Okay, so we're going to go ahead to variables and set our length to, go into math and get out this equation box. So whatever the value of length was before, we'll put length in this first box. Length plus 10. So now we need a number block. So then the first time through, the length will be 150. Then the second time, the length will be 160. And the third time, 170. So let's see if that will accomplish our puzzle. Okay, let's go on to number 3. All right, see what happens when you repeat the code from the last puzzle 30 times instead of only 3. So where would we change the number? We repeat here, 30. So let's see what happens when we change that to 30. And I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. Okay, so the length of the sides gets bigger and bigger and bigger each time. Okay, now there's not a completion on this one. I'm just going to go ahead and mark finish. Okay, because it also says feel free to make your lines any color or pattern for some extra zest. So if you wanted to do something a little bit different on this one, you can. And then when you're done, hit finish. Number 4, here's our code from the last puzzle. Okay, try editing the variable in other ways. What happens if you start out with length less than 150? Well, let's see. If I change it to 50, Let's see what that does. Okay, so it does that same design, but smaller, starting out smaller. Okay, what if you multiply your variable by 1.25 each time through? Let's try that. So our variable is length. Down here is where we change it. So here's our math equation. We can multiply. So we're going to switch that to multiplication. And 1.25. And let's see what happens. Okay, so it got bigger and bigger and bigger because we were multiplying and not just adding. So that looks pretty cool too. Okay, last option. What will your code do if you turn 119 degrees instead of 120? Okay, so that won't be a perfect triangle. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now it's going all over the place. Okay, very interesting what happens when you change just one little part of your code. Okay, we'll go ahead and mark finish on that one. And continue on to number 5. Okay, so free play, take what you've learned, make your own drawing. So here's our code from the last one. We didn't do a lot of coding in this lesson. Okay, we're just playing around with the variables to see what happens when we change those values. Can you use variables with squares, pentagons, or hexagons? Okay, we probably could. So keep in mind what you have to do to change the shape. You can add another repeat. You can add color. If you look in here, there's brushes that let you set color, patterns, widths, draw stickers. Okay, you have infinity blocks. So you can do as many things as you would like to on this one. Okay, that's all for lesson 21. I'm going to go ahead and go on to 6 just to show you what it looks like. It's just a summary, just a review. Okay, so that's lesson 21. That should not take you very long.